Welcome back to the Motivating Force podcast. I am host Sway, and joining me is not Justin. This is my little brother. That's Julian, and Justin will be switching seats with me from time to time. This bonus episode's a little special. We're going to be interviewing a 14-year-old. We're going to see what's trending in the younger generation.
Hello, it's nice to be here on the episode on the Motivating Force.
I'm glad to hear that. So we have some questions written out for you, and I kind of want the overall question that I'm going to start off with being due to the past year and how everybody's been on quarantine. This is going to be I just want to know your thoughts on if quarantine and this lack of social interaction is going to affect your generation as a whole or just you personally.
I feel like without the less interaction, it's going to affect me and more than my other schoolmates in school, because in school, all their friends go to school and not just online. So they still hang out and talk, but all my friends decided to stay at home. So it's just like I have no one to talk to whenever I need help.
But then what's the difference with just being able to call them or text them? Do you feel like not being there in person with them and having that social interaction, do you think that's going to affect you? Or do you think that's going to affect your generation since everybody's kind of just stuck to being at home and just seeing everybody through a phone?
I think it is going to affect people because they can't go to the malls as much and spend time there shopping and talking and just spending time with each other alone in their houses or just in general. So it's like they have no one to hang out with on the weekends, so they're just bored.
Okay, so do you think that's going to affect the way that you guys are creative? Like, because as kids, I mean, Justin and I, we grew up on like going outside and playing in the dirt and mud and like riding bicycles and staying out all hours of the night. Whereas I can see in your generation, I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying you guys are very tech savvy. You guys tend to be homebodies. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's going to be a drastic change in the way you guys are creative with the way you take up your time? Or like do you think there's going to be a lot of not hobbies but like positive byproducts of being stuck at home all the time?
I feel like by being home, you could probably get more things done, like schoolwork or exercising and that. But at the same time, you're at home, so you want to just lay down and be comfortable and just go on your phone, watch Netflix or TikTok or YouTube and just
I'm not saying for adults. I'm saying like kids. I know kids aren't going to the gym and exercising. So I'm saying
oh yeah.
So I'm saying like for you personally, do you think it's a good thing that your generation's staying on the phones and technology all the time? Or do you think they should just go outside and act a fool in the playground or whatever?
Either way, like before Corona, we were always on our electronics more. So I don't think it affected us too much, but it still did because we're on it more often. So that means I think we should get out more and hang out with each other.
Okay, so the quarantine didn't do much.
No, not really.
It really didn't change. It was the generation was heading that way anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch off here. Justin's going to ask a question or two. Stick around.
See, man, that's some crazy points on that, though, because for myself, it was like, hearing you say that, it's kind of like, right? It's like, man, your generation was built for that. You guys are built for COVID. Kind of makes you think, being a conspiracy theorist. Brings up some really interesting points on that. But, I kind of want to keep it a little light up front. I don't want to get hit here with some child labor laws or harassment here on minors. So keep it nice and simple here. I want to know what you feel the label for your generation is going to be. And in that sense, like our generation being millennials, we have this kind of looming label over our head saying that, we kind of had to live in a dead economy and we were too soft, raised too softly to kind of have a strong work ethic. So we're kind of viewed as like lazy workers, low work ethic, and growing up in a dead economy, like we're kind of labeled as like it's kind of acceptable for millennials to kind of be poor and out of luck. So how do you feel is going to be the labels on your generation? So to put it like simply, right? If I had to answer that question, I'd say millennials in general, we're deemed as having poor work ethic and we're screwed when it comes to finances. What would you say for your generation?
I feel like my generation's also like very lazy because all we want to do is not do any work we have, just lay down and enjoy ourselves. And like we don't care what other people think and we just want to do what we want to do, in all honesty.
Okay. See, I think that's where a difference comes in. Because we're kind of the same way. For us, we're raised to be like I remember when texting became a thing. Like I had to pay 20 cents per text message. If I wanted to text my girlfriend back in the day, let's just say I got in trouble a lot because the phone bill would accidentally go to like $200. And all I did was send too many text messages, you know? And that was like a reality. That was a real thing. I was outside walking around at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to talk to my girlfriend on the cell phone so my parents didn't yell at me for using up minutes because you only had so many minutes a month you could talk. But anyways, that's a rant. The whole point is we kind of like saw technology become what it is. And so like we took advantage of it. So with you guys being born into it, we kind of had this idea that you guys would be a little bit more responsible with it because it wasn't such a big deal for you. Like for me saying, oh, you get unlimited data, that's amazing for me. And for you, that's like, no factor. That's everybody. That's competitive marketing, you know? So that's interesting seeing how you guys don't have a kind of try to stay away from the labels. You guys don't really care about that.
But also I feel like with certain things that people say, my generation is quick to just like turn and attack at them. Because there's multiple TikToks that got popular of like people accidentally messing up on something. And my generation's like, oh yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They're slow. Or like with the Gorilla Glue incident with the girl. My generation was like, oh, she's stupid for not like looking at the label and reading it. But then the other half was like, she didn't know better. She was just trying to use her resources. So my generation is just like very passionate when it comes to something.
See, that's a great point because I just that is what kind of threw my curiosity was if you guys don't have those labels, but it did seem like you kind of get attacked a lot for different things. But speaking about TikTok, man, I know nothing about it. I really honestly don't. And like, it kind of makes me a boomer more than a millennial to not know anything about this type of technology. But, I mean, what is TikTok? Is this thing like bigger than Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? Is it all of them combined? Like, what is it?
I feel like TikTok is like destroying every other social media website. Anyone from like very young to like old in their 60s or something, you will find at least one video of someone like 10 times your age or very younger than you. And it's just like anyone could be on TikTok, which is also a bad hazard. And there's a lot of inappropriate things. So it's like.
So do you feel like TikTok is more dangerous than Facebook and Instagram as far as that type of like predatorial thing?
Yes, because TikTok will take down a video that's innocent, like it's not really bad. But like it could be a whole other video that's like really inappropriate, like just very inappropriate for very young viewers, and then they won't take it down. Like it will take a while for it to be taken down. So I feel like in a way it's safe, but not too much. Like I feel like there definitely should be an age limit that should be enforced more.
Man, I feel like we're circling back to the MySpace days. So do you think like the age limit would be more appropriate, or do you think it should have an age cap? Like instead of saying you have to be older than 13 to use the app, would you want to say like to be on TikTok you need to be younger than 32?
I feel like in a way both, because I feel like you should be older than like 13 maybe, but not like any older than like 30. Well, not 30. Like, yeah, 30.
Probably younger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be discriminatory, of course, right? That's interesting. That would be a good social media ploy there if anybody ever catches on to that idea. Making a social media that's specifically targeting an age group. I think TikTok tried that, but of course, with it being social media, everybody gets on it. But I think that's enough talking for me right now. So see you guys soon.
And I'm back. All right, so this is a good topic that we're on right now because, as we all know, Justin and I know nothing about TikTok. But what I do know comes from the podcast Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina P., 2 comedians. But she has this habit of finding the dark talks. And it's very, let's say, not PC. So people that are very they're doing drugs on the TikTok, or they don't know what they're doing on TikTok, or it's a bunch of crackheads, or it's some inappropriate things. My understanding of the app is that it's based on what you've liked, right? That's how you get the feed. So it's not people you follow. It's just algorithm of what you're following or what you're liking, right?
Yes, it's like following and also you're liking. Because when you follow someone, they try to look for someone that's very similar towards them, very similar to them. So they try to find videos that are almost identical.
So it's 50-50 on your following and then just recommended people?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only way to get to the dark talk is to find the inappropriate stuff and going down that.
Yes, or if the video gets very popular, it will pop up on everyone's.
Well, I highly doubt that.
Video.
The videos that she finds are 20.
Oh yeah.
20 views max. But then there's another question when it comes to that inappropriate side that we talked about before. Okay, so my understanding, I think TikTok is Chinese, right? It's made in China or something.
It was made.
So does it have the same censorships as Facebook and Instagram? I think Justin kind of touched on this a little bit, but I meant for the things that, let's say, a 13-year-old would be exposed to. Are there extremely inappropriate things that really should enforce that age limit for people to start using that app? Because I've never had a TikTok, but I constantly hear these horror stories, and it's I'm trying to understand if this is a good social media for children to be on, because my understanding is that it's a social media for adults to be on.
Well, most of TikTok is for teens, obviously, but there's also the people who aren't, because there was multiple times, but there was one video in general, because it was a viral trend, and it was this challenge where you would plop down and get into a fancy clothes. And then there was a video where people would react to it, to this one woman, and she was just fully booty butt naked. Okay. And it was going all on TikTok, and it took them days to take it down.
Okay, so they do take it down, but after it gains traction. So to be able to put up content like that is completely acceptable.
Yes.
Okay, I'm speaking as an older brother with a 14-year-old brother, and I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way that like we said earlier, that you guys grow up with this kind of technology, and it's almost like you're growing up with this exposure to certain things that in our millennial childhood, it was a little bit more difficult to come about certain situations.
Well,
to put it lightly.
Most of teens' For You page is innocent, wholesome stuff, because most of the most popular things that most people see are dancing videos. So it's just, most of the times you see dancing videos, but then you can also see comedy videos. But certain comedy videos that you like could lead to the bad side of TikTok.
If it's dark humor and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I've heard you break down...
Or inappropriate humor, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard you break down different, I guess, filters or feeds. You have a... you said something that you have...
the 3 sides of TikToks?
Yeah. Break that down for everybody that's over the age of 14.
So there's straight TikTok that people call it, is where it's
Straight TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay. So
where
they're biased against your sexual preference?
No, nothing with that. They call it straight TikTok because it's nothing funny. It's just boring dancing videos. And then there's elite TikTok.
Elite?
Yeah,
Like pro.
elite. Yeah, like better than the other.
Okay.
Which is more of the comedy side and the actual funny videos. And then there's deep TikTok or dark side of TikTok, where it's the inappropriate or the weird, disgusting things. Like one time I saw someone boiling a cow tongue and a cow something. But yeah.
And then some other part on the cow, is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then they ate it, or was it just them boiling it?
No,
was it still on the cow?
No.
Oh, okay.
They took it off the cow. I would hope they would take it off the cow.
I mean, it goes down to torture, you know? I don't know
Like,
what other paths there could be on the dark talk.
Well, okay. So I've seen a video before where like it just showed someone getting beat, and it was like awful and very brutal. So
Also
TikTok,
like that red room stuff, kind of like dark web.
So TikTok keeps a lot of like
algorithm
bad videos up to see if they get popular, and then eventually they will take it down once there's a lot of complaints.
And we're back, because I could not stay out of this conversation. First of all, really interesting lingo. I don't know if I'll, add that to my line of speech there, but booty butt naked? Come on, man. That's great.
I think it's just a funny way to say it, and it's not that very inappropriate to say it. So it's like something that you laugh about and you don't even realize what I just said.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Speaking about, okay, I kind of do want to get off of TikTok at some point here, but it's hard because it's a new concept for me. But well, I guess my one last question on there is, I see, where you mentioned about the inappropriate things, and it's interesting because kind of I'm getting this idea, I'm kind of drawing this line here, and I feel like we have different tolerance for what we'd consider inappropriate. And I kind of want to just gauge that a little more. And it's something that I've seen on some of the research I've done for some topics we do on the show. And they said that, millennials are a little more desensitized to a lot of things because we were around for the internet coming to fruition, and getting a hold of this inappropriate content was much easier. So like growing up, you could be, for myself, you could just come across random things where like people are just getting like straight up just like murdered on video. And there was no censorship, no editing at all, because the technology wasn't really there for it. So you're kind of just like, oh, well, don't go to that website anymore because that's disgusting. But we were exposed to that like regularly and seeing these kinds of things. And so do you feel like that regulation is, I don't know, it's kind of hard to ask, right? Because it's like you wouldn't know about things that like I've seen when I was 14. But as far as like things being well regulated, do you think that they've done a better job at that, like a good job at that? Do you feel you see less of these types of horrific things?
Yes, I feel like you see less of it unless, of course, you like the stuff and it will keep popping up, not just on TikTok, on Instagram and Facebook, because they're all linked some in a way. So we'll eventually keep popping ads on it or videos on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And it'll eventually you'll see it all everywhere you look, basically.
So pretty much the algorithms are working.
Yeah.
One way or another, right? Good or bad. Well, thank you for informing me so much more on TikTok. Moving away from that, I want to get into a final question here that kind of the grand slam hitter. So I hope you got a good response here. But would you have confidence in the generation that follows you? And here's the point. Typically, millennials, we look at the Gen Z kids like you with high anticipation. Not notably good or bad though, but we're eager to see like how you guys grow into adults, because we see it going strongly one way or another. We don't see you guys following down our path at all. So how would you feel looking at the generation that's going to come up behind you, right? And into your shoes? How do you think they're going to fill your shoes?
I have hope for the future generation, but I don't know how much hope I should put in, because with our generation, it's not going so well coming from me, who's a part of this generation. So it's like I've seen videos of people already talking about how they're going to raise their kids, and it's like, and how they're just going to leave them off to nannies or just give them electronics and just let them be. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be good because my generation like will treat their kids on how to be better people and accepting people, and not about the racism and all that stuff, in my opinion.
Okay. So we're going to see more of a, well, it's going to be interesting, right? Because it's more of a hands-off approach and just kind of let them become a byproduct of society, but at the same time, trying to hold structure and making sure they're not racist and not degenerate.
Yeah.
Seems like a combination that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
All right, me again. So getting away from TikTok and all that nonsense, a little bit more focus on what we do here. I just wanted to see in the younger generation's opinion, what kind of videos do you like that we're putting out? Like, are you liking our conspiracy stuff? Are you liking our origins of holidays and stuff like that? Are you liking our more motivational stuff? What are your preferences when it comes to the Motivating Force podcast?
So I feel like, in my opinion, I like the conspiracies the most because I've always been intrigued by conspiracies and videos like that. I used to always watch them forever. And also, like, the holidays originated. And then the motivation at the end, because it's harder for me to put in the motivation into my schedule. But I'm trying to. I really am. I'm taking the tips and tricks. Oh. So overall, in my opinion, if I had to like rank it in a way, I would say conspiracies, and then the holidays origination, and then the motivation, in my opinions. But it's just my opinions.
All right, well, I like that you said that. It gives us some pointers to angle our content towards the younger generation and try to get everybody involved and not just the older folks like ourselves and those older than us. But also, just so you guys know, this is something that we're going to be implementing where we're going to have guests from now on. We want to shoot for another mic so that it's not this like kind of awkward chair change situation we got. But once we get the new set, we'll probably look into getting another mic so we can have different folks like streamers, business owners, doctors. We'll get everybody in here throughout some interviews with real life personalities as well. So hopefully everybody is enjoying this. Thank you, Julian, so much for being here with us. If you guys have some questions for the 14-year-old as well, he lives with me for the time being, so go ahead and shoot those over or comment them down below. I'll make sure to ask him, and then I'll comment his answers.
Please ask.
He says, please ask. So make sure you stay with us Mondays and Wednesdays. We have our videos that come out 8 a.m. EST. Check out our socials. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Parler. Those links are down in the description.
And don't forget to watch more of The Motivating Force.